Alright guys, just San here for another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And today we're going to be checking out the LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta under a full 200% later skill. And seeing how he's looking, right? Because he does fit on the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta's team. So figured we could just run this team, take him in the Legendary Vegeta event, see how badly he's aged because he's pushing a year old now on JP. Which is crazy to think about because Global, we just got him like 5 months ago. But, yeah, you got to keep in mind JP is approaching their 8th year anniversary, and this guy did release during the latter half of the 7th year anniversary during the EX part. So, yeah, I mean, this guy alongside the Super Saiyan 4 Goku have been Easy 8 for almost a year, and, I mean, honestly, I still think they're both really good, for sure. I mean, I run them just in a variety of events. I would say maybe in some red zone stages, they could for sure get clapped up if they don't have, like, type advantage. But it really all just depends on the scenario, and we will be running him in probably the cooler red zone, the Metal Cooler Core, because I would say that's probably one of the hardest hitting enemies in the game right now, and this guy does have type advantage over him, so I don't know, if we could see this guy take double digits from him, even with normals, that's pretty impressive. I mean, that's contributing to something, right? Considering he is just doing an insane amount of damage. But yeah, so that is pretty much what we're going to be doing in today's video. Just make sure you guys like and subscribe. Keep in mind there's timestamps if you want to just skip to any part. Absolutely feel free to do that. And yeah, I mean, let's just get right into his kit. So starting off with his leader skill, he has Vegeta family category Ki plus 3 and HP tag and defense plus 180%. And then he gives STR type Ki plus 3 and HP tag and defense plus 130%. So for sure, really good leader skill right there. Vegeta family is an amazing category. So a 180% buff to it just all around is really good. And then on his super attack effects, for his 12 key, he massively raises attack and then raises defense, both for one turn. So I just want to specify he does not massively stack attack. This is just worded kind of weird, but no, he's getting 100% attack and then 30% defense on super attack effect for one turn. And then he causes colossal damage to enemy. And then on his 18 key super attack, he massively raises attack and defense for one turn. He causes mega colossal damage to enemy and then greatly lowers defense. So, I mean, pretty good super attack effects right there. The only thing I don't like is that he doesn't get 100% defense on his 12 key. But, I mean, he still gets some defense, so that is something. Because before his Easy A, he got no defense on his 12 key super attack. So, you always had to get that 18 key for him to even really be good after he super attacks. So, the fact they gave him a little bit of defense here is pretty nice. Because then, if you get additionals with this guy, you're just looking better defensively overall. So, yeah, but then to get into his passive, he gets 140% attack and defense for start of turn for free. And then he gets 10% attack up to 30%. And then defense plus 20% up to 60% at the start of each turn. And then he gets an additional Ki plus 2 per rainbow or STR key sphere obtained. He gets an additional Ki plus 1 per type key sphere obtained. He has a medium chance of evading enemies' super attack and countering with tremendous power. So that's actually a really good thing just to have. I mean, of course, some hard-hitting events do cancel dodging. So the fact that he does evade and it's not a nullification does kind of suck. And it is only a medium chance. So that also does kind of suck. But, I mean, the fact that he has it is really nice because you never know. When you get this activated, it always feels nice because you do a little bit of damage. And you don't have to tank a super attack, which is, I mean, hey, I'd say that's a win all around. So really good that he at least has that in his kit. And then he disables the enemy's action within the turn when activating his active skill, or when Ki is 24 if facing 2 or more enemies once only. Keep in mind that is restricted to facing 2 or more enemies, as it says right there. So you have to face 2 or more enemies when you're going to get that attack nullification, or you can just pop your active skill or get 24 Ki, and then you get the attack nullification. So yeah, kind of a weird condition right there, because facing 2 enemies is not necessarily crazy common. I mean, in Super Battle Road, obviously, if you take them in there, you're going to be facing 2 enemies, but I'd say majority of the game outside of Super Battle Road is not multiple enemies. It's primarily just one. So I don't really know if we'll be able to see that much throughout this video, but just keep in mind, if he is facing 2 enemies, he does have that. So for sure, there is some use with that. Well, actually, there's a lot of use with that. That's nullifying a whole attack. So actually, that is really good. But getting on to his active skill condition, it can be activated starting from the 4th turn from start of battle. So an amazing condition right there. That is similar to the 5th year anniversary LRs and the 7th year anniversary LRs, to where starting from turn 4, they can just pop it, which I really like that. I think that's an amazing condition. I was going to say effect. It's an amazing condition because it doesn't really require much. You just wait till turn 4 and then bam, you can pop it. There's no kind of hoops to jump around to get it. And then the effect for it is he massively raises attack temporarily and then causes ultimate damage to enemy. So it doesn't really do too much. There's no like crits in here or raising allies attack and or defense. just straight up damage, which I can respect that. That still is a pretty good active skill effect, especially if you can be fully built up with him, which considering it's turn 4, if you get him the first rotation, then you'll have 10% attack built up from that. You'll get another 10% from the second time you see him, and then on turn 5, you'll have that 30%. You'll be fully built up. You can pop this active skill, and it actually probably will do a lot of damage. So for sure, really good right there. Moving on to his links and categories, he has Super Saiyan, Saiyan Roar, Prepare for Battle, Saiyan Pride, GT, Fierce Battle, and then Legendary Power. So obviously stuff like Prepared for Battle, Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power stand out because those are really good links just to have, especially with him being on a lot of like Saiyan teams. So these are very common Saiyan links. But then stuff like GT and Saiyan Roar give a lot of defense and attack, but I mean defense I'd say is a little bit more important in links, arguably. But he gets 10% defense right there with Saiyan Roar, and then he gets 10% defense with GT. So that's a total of 20% defense. So keep in mind that with those two links, you are getting a good amount of just stats in general. So you really want to make sure you're running him with someone who shares those links, which is another thing I'll talk about a little later into the video. But this guy really just needs a better linking partner, primarily like a slot, just someone to throw in slot 1, and then you could throw this guy in slot 2 so he can get a super attack off, and then maybe get an additional and just absolutely tank phenomenally well in slot 2 and or 3. But we'll talk about that a little later. And then to get into his categories, he has Vegeta Family, Pure Saiyan, Shadow Dragon Saga, Worthy Rivals, Saviors, Grade 8 Power, Miraculous Awakening, Gifted Warriors, GT Heroes, Battle of Fate, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, and Bond of Parent and Child. A few categories here for sure are really good. Stuff like Pure Saiyan's, Vegeta Family, Bond of Parent and Child, and Power Beyond Super Saiyan are really, really useful. But a lot of these other teams really needed like a 200% lead to be good. Stuff like Saviors, Miraculous Awakening, Worthy Rivals, just stuff like that isn't really like amazing. It really just needs a good 200% lead. So, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it with this guy. Well, no, I've got no equipment on him right here because it's a private server. I can't really do anything about that. And he is built full crit right here, which I suggest you go full additional, just because he gets the defense right here. So just a little bit of extra defense is always nice. So, yeah, that is pretty much it with the unit. Let's go ahead and cut to when we are in the Legendary Vegeta event. Alright guys, so we are here on our second turn in the Legendary Vegeta event. We did manage to start with a pretty solid rotation right here. We're going to have 4 out of 7 links active, and we do have double support. So we've got a good amount of support going on right here. I think we have, what, like 73 offensive support and 40% defensive support. So we're for sure a little artificially buffed right here. But we are at 205k defense start of turn, which I would say is pretty good actually. 205k defense start of turn is really good because we still build up to an extra 60% defense, and we do get that 100% defensive buff on 18 key super attack. So we're looking at 410k defense right here with a 30% chance to counter super attacks, right? Because we have that medium chance of evading enemy super attack built into our passive. So I did get the 12 key super attack with him, because this guy gets a lot of key, so it would be kind of difficult to get a 12 key with him. So I want to get it before we lose the chance later in the video, just to kind of showcase it and see how much damage it does. So actually, we had a 5.7 million attack stat, which is really good for a 12 key. But yeah, I know I said that this guy's at like 410k defense, which is not true because we did not get the 18 key, which is where he gets the majority of his defense. So right there, we were only getting that 30% defensive buff. So we were only around like 260k-ish defense, which, I mean, is still pretty good. Around 260k-ish defense with the level of attacks that he did, considering we could look at a much higher number if we were fully built up and we could have gotten more defense if we had an 18 key. I would say it's still kind of solid, so yeah, I mean, and for his 12 key, that was a pretty high attack stat. Let me just turn this down just a hair. So yeah, pretty impressive with him. I do wish maybe he had just a better linking partner. I was talking about this a second ago, but I really wish that there was someone you could just throw in slot 1, tank all the attacks, and then have this guy in slot 2 so he can get that 100% defense, because I would say right now the ideal slot 1 partner for this guy is probably like, well, these guys actually, when they transform into Gogeta. But you got to keep in mind that physical transformed Gogeta is not really a slot 1 unit. He might be able to work in slot 1 because he can get to some pretty high defensive levels start of turn, and he has some damage reduction depending on how many rainbow key spheres you get. So for sure you might be able to just throw him in slot 1 if he has type advantage, but I don't know. In some of these hard-hitting events, you're kind of stretching it by putting him in slot 1. So honestly, what I think we really need is we need a baby celebration. We need a Super Saiyan 4 Goku and LR baby. We need them headlining in an event, or headlining banners, and then, you know, just have them be crazy busted. Make it to where the Goku's a slot 1 unit, because a lot of these GT or Super Saiyan 4 units, not GT, a lot of these Super Saiyan 4 units really are just slot 2 and or 3 units. Because this guy is a slot 2 unit, the Goku's a slot 2 unit, the Goku and Vegeta are slot 2 units, because they just get so much defense on super attack that you really just want to put them to where, or put them in the slot where they get hit the most after they super attack. So yeah, but anyway, we're at 219k defense start of turn right here, so we did build up a little, which is pretty cool. So we saw we jumped from, what was it, 205k to 219k, so not really that big of a jump, but still, 219k is pretty solid, because then again, after we super attack, we're going to be at like basically 440k defense, which is for sure pretty good. So, okay, so yeah, let me just check his links really quick. So yeah, we have 4 out of 7 links. We do have the main ones like GT and Sanroar active, so that's for sure pretty good. Keep in mind, if we did not have those active, our defense probably would be a lot lower. But at 8.6, okay. 8.6 is actually pretty impressive, because, again, you got to keep in mind he's greatly lowering defense right here, which we're not doing because the enemy cancels it, but it's still nice to just point out that he has that. We're greatly lowering defense. We have that medium chance to evade enemy super attack, and defensively, we're at a pretty solid number. I would say 440k is pretty good. But just keep in mind that we do still have to build up that extra, actually, wait, are we only 20% off? Yeah, I think we're only 20% off, so the next rotation, we should be fully built up, which then we'll pop his active skill and see how much damage that does, because I wanted to save the active skill to when he's fully built up. So we'll probably show a rotation or 2 of that, and then we may just cut to when, we may just cut to a rotation to where we can nuke with him and just see what he's looking like. So, actually, you know what, I'm just going to do this, because why not? Might as well just kill him really quick. But yeah, this was the Gogeta I was referring to that I said you want to throw in slot 1, because I would say what would make a good linking partner for this guy specifically, the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, is just someone that shares, yeah, GT and Sanroar with. So, I mean, but not only is he getting GT and Sanroar, he also has like Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. So, I mean, they are good linking partners for sure, but I don't know. He really just needs a standout slot 1 unit to just run with. And preferably, he'd have to, well, not preferably, he'd have to be a Super Saiyan 4, because then that would let the Vegeta get stuff like GT and Sanroar active, which I already talked about. Those are some crazy links for this guy. So yeah, we lost out on well, actually, we lost out on all of our defensive support, but we do still have some offensive support. And we lost out on the support, like I said, but we did build up a little bit more. So defensively, we are up to 205k, which, I mean, we are fully built up right here. So that may look a little unimpressive to you, considering fully built up, we're only at 200k, and post super attack, that's only going to get us to 400k defense. But you got to keep in mind, again, we have no defensive support right here, and yeah, that's the only excuse I can think of for him. But yeah, so I mean, only 400k defense post super attack isn't really the craziest, but keep in mind he can get more defense through additionals and stuff like that, which he does not have built in. But again, if you build him full additional, then for sure you could have a chance of getting those. Hence how additionals work. But yeah, so I'm not gonna go too crazy about this active skill. That the animation is kind of crappy. I mean, look, I can admire it for what it is. It's a 4th year anniversary LR animation, but still, it's not really that good. But it makes sense that it's not that good because it's a 4th year anniversary LR animation. I mean, of course, it is. It's pretty old. It's a couple years old at this point. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and use an item right here just to bump our key up because we got pretty unlucky with key right there. So I'm gonna do that, and then we are at a full 24 key super attack. I really hope the Goku and Vegeta do not kill in slot 1, but they might. So it is what it is. If they do, they do. We'll just cut probably to our next rotation. But yeah, I mean, pretty good damage as well. He got the crit on the active skill right there, so we did do a good amount of damage. But this guy is built full crit, so we had a very good chance to do that. I think he is dead right here. Okay, so I probably won't cut. I'll probably just talk until we get the next rotation with him. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. 400k defense post super attack, that's not really anything too crazy. I think that probably will get you far in events where he has type advantage. But I really don't want to be a negative Nancy. I know this guy, he's good, right? He can hit some crazy offensive numbers. And, I mean, if you've got support on the rotation, or if you've just got a really good rotation for him in general, I mean, he could be looking really good. But, I don't know. I really wish maybe he had some, like, built-in additionals or something. Because I'm not really too overly impressed with the defensive number right there. And, I mean, it's just facts that defensive is kind of key in a unit. So if he's putting up a high attack stat, that's great for sure. But is he matching that level with his defense? I think that's what's most important in a unit. So, yeah. And, I mean, he's, again, not horrible defensively. I just wish he was looking a little bit better. But, I mean, hey, you know, he's almost a year old. What can you do? I'm still happy that he's at least pretty good, because it provides him with some good use, and like I said, some of these red zone stages where he has type advantage, because he could still get that counter off as well. So, I mean, maybe it would be kind of difficult to just rely on the counter. I kind of recommend against that, actually, because if you're throwing him, if you have like a scouter up and you're throwing him in the slot where you're receiving a super attack, you're most likely not going to get it, because it's only a 30% chance, but for sure, it's still a chance to get it, so I don't want to discredit that. But anyway, right here we are at 6 out of 7 links, so we are looking really good links-wise. We're at 214k defense start of turn, which, I mean, yeah, again, that's not really too crazy. You got to keep in mind we have no support right here, though. But then after we super attack, we're only going to be at, like, what, 428k defense. So 428k defense is okay. Not really too impressive. I am going to nuke with him right here just because I want to make sure we can just get a cool attack stat with him. I was going to throw him in slot 1, but I don't want to miss out on that one link, so I am not. But yeah, so hopefully we get lucky with our key spheres right here. Okay, that's not really too lucky. Can we get some more? Okay, so that's not horrible. We can get 14 key spheres, so 14 STR key spheres, and we are going to pop this, the World Tournament Announcer item right here. So we should be looking pretty crazy offensively, but I don't know, because we have no support right here, and we do have 6 out of 7 links active, so that is a plus. But yeah, we have no support, so I'm not really too sure if we would like do crazy right here. Well, I mean, we probably would get a crazy attack stat because we popped an item, but yeah. So okay, Super Saiyan 4 Goku putting in some work. Almost a 9 million attack stat from that guy. Okay, so 15.6 is pretty crazy, actually. 15.6 is that's a pretty high number. But you got to keep in mind, he's only at like 400k-ish defense right here, but 9.15 million damage. Okay, wow. So yeah, overall, I'm not really crazy impressed. I'm not that blown away with his stats or anything, but for sure, if he could manage to tank double digits in the Metal Cooler Core Red Zone stage, I think there would be a lot of value in that. And, I mean, offensively, this guy's looking really good, too. And I don't want to discredit his 400k defense. 400k defense is a kind of good number, but my only issue with that is his 400k defense after he super attacks. So it's not even start of turn. You have to make sure you get that 18 key super attack specifically to get at that defensive level. So a little bit wonky for me, but I don't know. Let's see how well he tanks in the Red Zone stage. Alright guys, so we are here in the Metal Cooler Core Red Zone stage, and we've got a pretty solid rotation right here. We're gonna have 5 out of 7 links active, so we are only missing Prepare for Battle and Sand Pride, which is pretty alright because those aren't really crazy links. I think, again, the main ones you're gonna want to get are GT and Sand Roar, and we do have them active, so that is good. And start of turn, we're at 248k defense. That's pretty good because after we super attack, we're gonna be at about 500k defense. And 500k defense with the 30% chance to evade enemy super attack is pretty good, actually. I would argue there's some value in that. But we're going to go ahead and pop his active skill right here just to get the damage in. And, well, that's pretty much it, just to get the damage in. But, yeah, we'll see if he's able to tank double digits from this event. I highly doubt it. I think he's going to tank like 10, 20k per normal, which would still be pretty good. I mean, that's not horrible, but I am curious how much he'll tank. So we can't get exactly to a 24 key super, but I did bring some key items, so we will do that, and then that will bump us up to a full 24 key. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop a Senzu Bean because why not? Now, yeah, we'll give that to him, and then we'll give that to the Piccolo. So, I mean, I'd like to receive a super attack right here just to see how much we tank, but I mean, I don't know. So 9.3 million damage, for sure, doing some pretty good damage, right? I mean, 9.3 is it's a pretty number for sure. And we did crit. And we got the additional. Okay, so defensively right now, we're looking a lot better than we have pretty much during this whole run, which is good. I mean, we would want to look better now than any other time. And with the additional, we are tanking double digits from normals, and we are taking a super attack. So let's see how much we tank right here. 452k, so we lived a super attack. Okay. And then an 11.2. But we lived a super attack, so I'm actually kind of impressed right there. Not only did we manage to tank double digits from normals, but we lived a super attack, so we are going to die right here, unfortunately, because these guys just aren't high enough defensively, because I'm only on turn 6, so they haven't gotten to stack that much. But pretty good showing, I got to say. I'm fairly impressed with that. I wasn't expecting that. I was, like I said, I did my predictions. I was expecting a little bit more. Okay, so they're tanking double digits too. Okay. So maybe my just perception of units is completely off. But we did manage to tank double digits right there. And we also tanked the normal, or the super attack, excuse me. So for sure, really good right there. I'm extremely impressed. No, not you guys. I'm extremely impressed with him. And yeah, I mean, overall, I would say for sure defensively, you could be a little bit better. But if you bring him in the right scenario, he'll provide a lot of use for you. So that has been the video. Let me know what you guys think of this guy down in the comments. Let me know if you think I've been too critical on this guy. Let me know if you think I'm kind of bashing him too much or I've been too nice. But just keep in mind, at the end of the day, it's my opinion. You know, for what it's worth, it doesn't really mean much. It's just my opinion. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.